Good morning, everybody, and welcome. I would like to go ahead and begin the service. I appreciate everybody showing up and enjoy the talk before we get going. So let us begin here. So I'll begin with the opening ritual if you want to prepare yourselves. We are now about to open a Church of Light meeting in the customary manner, and in so doing, let us consider seriously the purpose for which we are here gathered together. The purpose which, since the dawn of human intelligence, has drawn true brothers and sisters of the light into holy convocation, the purpose which during all ages has attracted the spiritual efflorescence of every epoch together as selected meeting places, the purpose which has ever impelled the noblest and most exalted souls of earth to band together for a common effort. That purpose is to study nature's law, to unfold the divine attributes of the soul, to secure conscious immortality, and to attain the royal grandeur that surrounds the true perfected human. As has been the custom for eons past, let us arise and face the east, from whence each day the sun first shields his all-illuminating rays upon the children of the earth. And bear in mind that even as all energy, light, and warmth upon the earth are derived from the solar Father, so in truth all life, light, and love known to man are derived from God, the spiritual Father, whose all-providing care was symbolized in the minds of our ancient brethren by the orb of day. Let us now stand, make the symbol of the religion of the stars. We stand to indicate active volition, with right hand raised to heaven in inspiration to divine knowledge and power, and the left hand extended to earth as a pledge that such knowledge and power will be used only in spirit and in truth for the benefit of humanity. You may lower your hand, and I will pronounce the invocation. O thou eternal Spirit, in whom we live, move, breathe, and have our being, consecrate this meeting to the cause of truth and righteousness. As brothers and sisters of the light, we seek knowledge at the shrine of goodness. Therefore, by virtue of our unselfishness and sincerity in desiring to assist in thy works, we ask the help of the legions of light and their protection from all forces of darkness. So shall it be. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Candace, who's been gracious enough to help me do the service, and she will begin with the lecture.
All right, guys. Today we are gathered to contemplate Cancer. The sun enters the zodiacal sign on June 20th this year, around 9:41 p.m. Central Time. This marks the summer solstice, which is the longest day in the Northern Hemisphere. I love this line from C.C. Zane on Cancer. Cancer is comparable to a fog, subject to whims, moods, and varying changes, and possesses an unusual freedom to alter its own position. Its keywords are I feel, it's part of the watery triplicity, its movable quality, the pioneer of emotions, it's part of the first emanation, and the polarity is feminine, the natural ruler of the fourth house. Cancer rules over the breast, the color light green, the diaphragm, fountains, emeralds, hotels, herbs such as water lilies, russets, cucumbers, squashes, melons, and other water plants in general. Hydrangeas, laundry, the letters SH, TS, and TZ. It rolls over living rooms, the lower lungs, mediumship, the note high F, reservoirs, spirit communication, the stomach, and any soft white stones like selenite and chalk, the number 18, water pipes, and running water. People born under the sign Cancer are mild, reserved, home-loving, and pleasant. Their best quality is tenacity, and their worst quality is touchiness. In the night sky, Cancer is commonly seen as a crab, but throughout history, it has been seen as a crayfish, a lobster, a turtle, and even a scarab beetle. This might be due to Cancer being the dimmest zodiacal constellation. Always Cancer's constellations are seen with a hard outer shell or exoskeleton and a softer inside. The glyph for Cancer could be depicted as or described as 2 spirals or a sideways 6 and 9. Either way, it's generally thought to depict a crab. Cancer's major arcana is the Moon card, which is Arcanum 18, which can be read as deception, false friends, or secret foes. A very important concept of this card being both active and passive mediumship. 18 is the number of Cancer. This makes it the second decan of 9, or wisdom polarized, as Zane puts it. He goes on to talk about the numerology implications, implying that that it has the exploration of secret realms, which, as we all know, has its perils. You need marked spiritual advancement or a guide from a competent master. And you must remove all negative and destructive states. Then 18 becomes true wisdom regarding the science of occultism. The science of occultism. We have a whole book that is titled The Laws of Occultism. And wouldn't you know it, the first chapter expands on this conversation and this exact concept that Zane's going over with the numerology of Cancer. He does a whole lot of warnings, as he should. And I'm not going to read all the warnings today because, as Zane puts it, all of us fear what we do not understand, but with understanding comes courage. And with the dawning of the light of the mind, we see how any hidden dangers may be circumvented. I highly recommend that you read all the warnings in that book, and actually just go ahead and read all 21 books and the manuscripts, and you should be thoroughly warned. And of course, we are not talking about we are not recommending any type of passive mediumship. Right now, I'm going to focus on the other side of this parable and read to you what Zane talks about in chapter 1 of course 1. We, the Church of Light, however, believe that painstaking research should be carried out on every possible plane in all departments of nature, including both the physical and those spiritual, to the end that man may merely not believe, but know that the conditions under which he is required to live in each distinct realm, that he may utilize the laws and the principles so discovered to be successful. He even continues, if we are to have a basis for success in our lives and the vaster scope, we must also acquire the knowledge of the laws governing other planes. The more comprehensive our knowledge, the better we are fit to adjust ourselves to the demands of this wider life. It is the knowledge that the religion of the stars attempts to furnish. To me, that sounds like a mission statement. It's very inspiring. But I know what all of you guys are thinking. The perils are just so perilous. And Zane's probably also thinking that. And I would have to say that people who have enough Cancerian energy in their chart, or just negative receptive energy in their chart, are going to face these perils, provoked or unprovoked. After all, the mediumistic qualities correlate to Arcanum 18. And Cancer is the zodiacal sign most susceptible to the influences from other planes. In this lecture, I just want to talk about what mediumship means at its basics, because Zane goes into so much detail about this in Arcanum 18. In no way am I suggesting speaking to the dead. I don't even recommend speaking to the living unless it's absolutely necessary. And I think it's a wonderful policy to only have one entity controlling one body, and that be the same entity from birth to death. No shenanigans here. But what is mediumship exactly? Zane's pretty clear about it in the magic section of Arcanum 18. The passive becomes the medium of the active. An example, matter is the medium for the mind of expression, or simply put, our thoughts are more active than physical matter. One interpretation is that our body is the medium of our mind. And I believe this is also why art supplies are called mediums. So like watercolor medium, acrylic medium. So art has a mediumistic quality that's recognized linguistically. Astrology also has a mediumistic quality because the energies of the interior planes are more active than those external, and the physical is mediumistic to the astral world. Thus, the astrological influences the life of the material world. And it turns out, and I quote, everything is mediumistic, broadly speaking, in the sense that it receives and transmits energy. Zane goes on to describe how these medium principles affect us on a large scale, saying that what we consider God, the great controlling force of the universe, comes down from from God to the densest material atoms is a complete graded scale of mediumship, from the highest planes transmitting the one universal force to the next plane below, until it finally reaches and energizes the lowest realms. So mediumship just is a universal principle, but it also is an applicable principle that works with us on a smaller scale, especially with the work that we're doing here at the Church of Light. Zane explains that the true adept never claims to originate his teachings that he gives out, for he recognizes the fact that whatever truth man grasps on the physical plane is due to his reception of it from an exalted soul. Those interior planes of life enable them to dispel illusion. The truth these exalted beings realize is transmitted to them from still more interior worlds, and so on, to the throne of God, who is the source of all truth. So mediumship at its basic principles are unescapable. There's no option but to understand that we have mediumistic tendencies because that's how the whole universe functions. This is an important shift because it shifts our mission from trying to abolish all mediumistic traits to having to master them as a basis for success in our lives in a vast scope. Remember, there's a great difference between such conscious and controllable mediumship and that of the person who trusts to controlling spirit guides or permits a disincarnate entity to use its bodies for means of communication. Zane really brings it all together for me, just ties it up nicely in a bow in the last line of Arcanum 18. Mediumship is the science of reception and transmission, embracing the law of affinity and its applications in the production of phenomena. Embracing the law of affinity. So here we are back to a core Hermetic principle. We attract what we are like, and this is very clear in non-physical realms. To master the principles of mediumship, we have to master ourselves. Of course, the zodiacal sign that is the pioneer of emotion points us back to ourselves and asks us to take initiative of our internal states. After all, Cancer possesses an unusual freedom to alter its own position. And I want to make a little statement here, and I am closing out. Obviously, this is a general goal and not a fleshed out strategy. If you'd like more insight, I recommend Course 1, Laws of Occultism, Of course, 18 imponderable forces, and of course, the manuscripts.